I know some of them conscience are very heavy, especially those who suppose to lead, those who know better, and those who take pride, and those who fool. Let's try to fool the common people.
Fooling poor people, boy. Wow.
Fooling poor people.
Alright guys, this is Afwawi. This is another version of another one of my of Afwawi's videos that we usually do to bring light to the people, entertainment, history, whatever it is about our community that we think that's important, that we want to know about and partake of. Today, here we have a gentleman who is from the community of Marigot, who has a lot of knowledge of historical events which has occurred in the past, you know, and as someone who is always interested in knowing about the past and how things have evolved in the community, it is always good to have it and know it and share it so the younger ones can always know and partake of it. With that said, let me present to you Ahmad, and let us hear what, you know, some of his knowledge he's going to share with us. So, good afternoon, Ahmad. How are you today?
Well, I'm okay, I'm fine. Thanks God for the day that He creates.
Yeah.
Glad I'm blessed in it.
Yeah, man. So one of these days, the other day we were having a conversation, Ahmad and myself, another gentleman, you know, and he brought up some important topic, and we decided we would like to bring it to the forefront, record it, so others can enjoy and gain some knowledge of those historical events in the community of Marigot, you know. So here we go.
Well, yes, it's always wise to really people can understand the history and really know what happened, because without the history we lost.
That is true, definitely.
So, I believe that those things are vital.
Very
because
important.
I can remember sometimes going by, it used to be in the 1980s, come up to the 1990
Yes.
times. I remember about certain things that take place in the community in Marigot.
Yes.
With land and land dispute amongst the citizenry
Of Marigot. Yes.
I remember that.
And you were a child back then.
Yeah,
You were
I
young.
was
A young boy.
man.
Yes.
Man. When some elder people used to speak to me as I used to listen to the conversation, and I used to ask certain questions, and they used to tell me certain things. I remember sometime in the 80s when land in Marigot had been taken away from the common people, mostly the low class people, especially the farmers.
Very important. Taken away from the common people.
And what happened in them times, because it never had a voice for the people, I have to say that the fortunate ones who stay silent and allow certain things to happen with those who had their agenda, meaning that they were looking at some purpose of reasons to do certain things, but it was against
The benefit of the populace.
Yeah, the benefit of the populace.
Of everybody, of the majority of the
Of
folks.
the majority of the folks, of the people, meaning that before coming front with body, it's like, especially with doing with most those men who is in leadership. I remember that when a gentleman in Marigot had got a piece of land from a certain man they used to call Mr. Vigil, and then when he gave it to the man, it had people who used to work for the master as the estate owners. And then, because that man had that piece of land, some people who used to work with him had won the same owner of the estate to get that property, preventing the man from having the property, which is reached in court. And in the court, the magistrate, the city magistrate in them time, they said,
Yes.
way back in the 80s, had asked the gentleman about his bonds, and then none of the people that he was bonding with was not in the court because they never want to represent in the court as to represent him in the court. So he did it on his own, meaning that he stand alone in the court against this big, huge man who have a lot of land and estate
Yes. Powerful, rich at the time.
at the time.
Yes.
And then when the magistrate called him up and asked him certain question about who is bonding with, he only say who is bonding with. And then when the magistrate asked the title man, the big man, about his land, he could not really give the court sufficient evidence as whatever he had. So
Yes.
the court put in favor of the gentleman who the man had passed over the land to.
True.
And then out of the court now, the gentleman who some people had want to give the land, have pulled the man aside and tell him whether not he was fighting with them. It's they was giving him the land. So that's why he really got it. And
So basically, it was the local people from the community who was fighting against him,
yeah,
and they were standing up with the other gentleman who was the landowner who had all these other estates, estate owner basically.
yeah.
Yes.
So they know
Somebody from the upper class.
yeah.
Yes.
Now, after that now, I remember that gentleman come and die, but it had a piece of land they call Cotton Garden, well, better known as Pigwa. And that piece of land, so they had buy that piece of land from Shillingford, and then the owner that Shillingford sell the land to, he never finished pay for that land, and his son come and pay for it. Now, I remember that when the owner of the estate died,
Okay.
and then his assets was in the Chronicle paper, and it was saying, pointing at all the land that he had, meaning that he had Londonderry, Governor, and Cotton Garden.
Okay.
And then they talk about another piece of land out of the district that is someplace downtown side.
Okay.
That is his estate.
Yes.
And then they talk about other relatives, family land that's not estate sale. And then suddenly his son finished pay for that piece of land in Houghton Garden because the father didn't finish pay for it.
Okay.
So it became his son's estate now.
Okay.
And then Mr. Lavelle, this is Frobel Lavelle, and my father was good buddies.
Yes.
So he tell my father that piece of land in North End, he like him to take it over.
Yes.
And no matter who come about that piece of land, not to give up, just hold on to that piece of land.
Yes.
That's what my father told me. And my father started working the land. My father had about 5.5 acres for planting bananas, because that's what he did when he used to do his bananas.
Yes. He was a farmer.
He was a farmer. And then a certain time, the owner of the estate at that time, the Lavelle guy, had a meeting with some, well, I have to say, made an authority, and then,
Some key figures in the community.
yeah, some key figures.
Key figures in the Margaret community.
and
At the time.
and yeah, at the time with some of the church leaders, especially the Methodist Church. And then they had a meeting in Crabhole. That is where the gentleman have his dwelling. And then I don't know, deals going on. They
Yeah.
start making deals. And then they decide about some investors. I remember a name, Greystone, that was an investor. They talk about her, and then they talk about some other things. So they give the gentleman a monopoly that they do a survey in Marigot, finding out that who have registered land and who don't have registered land.
So let's talk about a little bit. You said they did a survey. How did they do that survey there now? Do you have any idea how that was carried out?
Well, the survey that they did, to my knowledge, is like they go in registry, find out who have title and who don't have title, and who have inheritance without papers, and who is working on mission land. So when they find out that now, that was their goal. When they find out, they decide where they want to capitalize on those land. So they wanted to pass it over to this gentleman, this powerful gentleman who claimed that he had 500 acres of land in Marigot.
Wow.
That is Hutton Garden.
Yes.
And then I remember that they tell me long ago, Northern Estate was a different estate to Hutton Garden Estate. And then the man now come and start notifying people about the land, that they have to pay certain money, else they have to buy land. So some of the people who was working on the land decide where they are not paying because it's mission land.
Yes.
So they went to Methodist people. When they go to the Methodist board say, well, they have to find out. They didn't take a private investor
Investigator.
to investigate the land. Them themselves say that they have to do either Montserrat as one of those little neighboring islands where they say that they have the headquarters. Mission have the headquarters.
Okay.
So then themselves who involved in the land with the land guy who they're going to give a monopoly to drive all the people from the land by giving them a letter, and the people didn't respond. Then he went overseas, he stayed a length of time, and then he come back again, he gave them a second letter. The people didn't respond because then they're checking where they're doing the farming, and they're on the land, some of them was on the land over
Family
40,
land to how long?
50 years,
Yes.
just grandparents and
Yes.
whatever working on his land, and they pass it over to them.
Yes.
And then back in the time there, so people were just planting and people was looking for titles for land and so. So because they know that, I remember a gentleman who used to be on the board of Banana Association.
Yes.
He went in our field and they planting coconut trees and they marking. Then they asked him a certain question, and then he said, well, this land is Mr. Lavey land, that's Angel land. And then they said, well, no. And then he said, well, yes. And then they do their own private investigation about the land. Now when they go to Montserrat, is then the Methodist people self and go to Montserrat, and then they come back and they tell the people that Mission say they don't have no land in Marigot that anymore. So they say that is Mr. Lavey land. So one day when I in the garden in North End, a Shillingford man come there and meet me on the land. And he said to me, well, he described himself to me, tell me who he is and so forth. And then he tell me that he understand that look what is going on. And he tell me, well, those land they want to give it to Laville. Now, as I understand that Laville was a passport seller and he's looking for investors. So they want to capitalize to do the business, like, for investors and so. So they run it out, they come up with what something I really could not understand, which I did really, think of. I say that he claimed the whole land, Tantan North End. And some individual who have land there, who is high up in Methodist Church, he never troubled them.
Okay.
He troubled more or less people who is not in Methodist Church. Some are in Methodist Church, but the lesser ones, the unfortunate ones.
Yes.
And then they decide to take away his land from them. Now, because they could not pay lawyers and they didn't know how to go about it, and something that really hurt me is the type of people that was behind it.
Yeah.
Who claim is make believe out of the people like them in their interest, who knows better, who didn't stand with the people, even leaders in the village, and they allow because they all self-possessed the same thing with Laville.
Mm-hmm.
I may understand that it had an exchange of land, because why? Some of them said that you have to give it a certain piece of land, which is Laville land, so it won't be glaring that people will say, well, he take that piece of land, there's a give him that piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
So they allow Laville to take the land from poor people, and Laville gives certain of them piece of land of his own, which he pays money for from the shilling force. And then the lawyers in Dominica, most of the lawyers, Angel had all of them in his back pockets, meaning that he had them on his side. And everyone that stand with him against the people in Marymount of the land, he gave the lawyers a piece of land.
Wow.
And I know that about a gentleman who is a constructor builder, that I work with that man on Angel House in Crab Road. Angel don't give him cash, Angel give him a piece of land. A piece of my father's land. That Frobel give my father a piece of land and tell him, hold it, stay on it, no matter what happened. When they had a meeting and when they had a thing set up, for the man to stand with him, he take a piece of the land of what my father had and give it to the gentleman, a neighbor around in North End by my father's land.
Mm-hmm.
And they run us off the land. I remember my bigger brother, who tried to stand up, said that he have a friend is a lawyer and he go in for information and talk about. When he go to her, she tell him that the land is Angela. Now they have the document showing that is Angela land.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how documents can easily make and what happened and so.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter, it was not Angela land.
Mm-hmm.
The Shillingford guy tell me that he will stand with all of us against that regime. He give me his number and he tell me whenever they come and any court business, look what to do. I take him around to the neighbors who was on that land working. Some of them compromise it and they go and join Laville against their own self and against their own children and their future. And they go with Laville. Some of them who come to live in Marigot, make family in Marigot, they join with Angel against the citizenry in Marigot and take that piece of land as give stand with Angel in court against certain people in Marigot. had also tell them, look, we cannot fight Angel one by one. Let we come together and do that. Well, because they believe, well, they're so intelligent, and I'm young, I don't know nothing, they're checking well, like, you know, I just come on and take. They
Yes.
give that advice, and some of them go, they try to fight Angel, and they lose that case. And Angel end up getting all those land from the poor people in Marigot, which I know that it's not Angel land, because I had a conversation about 2 years ago, that was about, say, 2020, 2020, somewhere about there.
5 years ago.
About 5 years ago. And right in a shop, the same man who used to be on Papugan Estate, like the one who sold the land, their parents sold the land for Frobel. He came around visiting his friends and having some chat with them and things. So I asked him a certain question in front of his friends, who some of his friends self had tell me that is Angel land. So I asked him the question in front of them, and then I asked him that if it's they who sell the land for Angel in Begua, Lavin in Begua, they tell me yes. And the works at least they had a mill, factory mill, and so they tell me yes, it's they who sell it there. I asked him if Northern land was included. He tell me no. Northern land come up to Hilltop, to the village, and Tantan land. It's not nothing to do with the estate and what they sell from Frubel. They steal it from the people.
Wow.
That's what he tell me in front of his friends, because he take them to have a drink.
Yeah.
I go, but I didn't drink because I wanted to be focused, that I can ask him the question I want to ask him. So I wasn't compromising. So I did ask him the question.
Yes.
Some of them, they still them out open. Some of them who sell were doubting me and making me to know that the land was Angel land. And they also tell me that the tenants on the land used to pay him fees. Now, they all used to go. Frobel used to have people working on his estate and used to send people to go and pick up their lines and bag the coconut on another estate, because the land never really had any owner at the time they sold. And he knows about the land. When in the I would say the 60s and coming up to the 70s, and the man started to work the land, the Frobel taking his workers off his estate and send them north and then place there to pick up the lines. It's just like say, well, abandoned place, and common people going there and picking up coconut, lines, and so to help themselves. So just like that, Frobel do that. So Frobel had tell my father everything about the land. And then when I asked the Shillingford guy about the land, when he explained to us about, say, at least 12 of us was in the shop, and then he explained and he said, the land is not Angel land. And Angel gets, oh boy, it's more than almost 200 acres of land in Marigot of the poor people. Now, something I want to share with you all. If he said that he buy all those land, and I know certain people, I was on the land, he never troubled them. And he claimed all the land. Why he never claimed them? Because he had people in Methodist church, hierarchies in the church, who allow Angel to do it, as given to Angel. So they could capitalize as have their own way about on the poor people in Marigot. And I believe it's unfair, and I believe that history should share.
Something should be done about that.
Yeah, something should do about that, because it's right in our eye. I know that my auntie and Angela go back and front in court They win Angel come back, appeal the case, win them. They go back again, win Angel go back and appeal the case and win. After you win, the lawyers, all the lawyers, Angel, stand for Angel, who doesn't know nothing about the land. And you know how lawyers work, they're putting it to you, and you don't know, you cannot fight them, and all of them get, not paid, but they get land. And after some of them gathered those land, what do they do? Some of them sell the land. As soon as they get it, they get investors, white people, some of them, you know, and they sell it to white people, right in Marigot in the neighborhood. So I believe it's unfair, and I believe people should know about it.
Absolutely.
And some research should go about and finding out more.
Yes, some further matter. Yes, because that's very unfair. That's deep. That's what is the word to even use for that? You know, is that's very deep, and that's cutting very deep, man. You know, all that land taken away from the poor people of the community, and some of the leaders in the community know about it, and they never stood for the people, so they can get what is rightfully theirs. You know, and let this man come and just inherit all of this, and even push poor people out of the inheritance. I mean, this is crazy.
And remember Greystone, this investor that they had in Dominica here was going to open some flowers industry in Hatton Garden down there. When the United Workers Party lose the election, when the Labour Party win, everything flopped. It flopped. And certain people that buy land and were in the meeting who took place in Crab Hole, in Angel Place. Some of them, I spoke to some of them, and some of them spoke to me, and they gave me some links about what happened, what took place. And even that when Laville's son, I used to do surveying with him, and he had made me know that his father was in some jail somewhere in Miami, and he didn't know when he see his father, and look what took place, look what happened. And then when he and I had some talk about the land, he told me he don't know what's going on, but he just said his father getting land and having land and just getting land, and he really don't know about it. But I know that it had a gentleman, a good friend of mine, he died now. He was a frank guy, and he tell me, he called me Hamad, and he tell me, Hamad, what you don't know older than you? I tell him, well, what I don't know, you older than me, you can share it with me. And he tell me, plenty things happen right in front of our door. I asked him like what, he tell me, you don't see Angela take all the land, you don't see they give Angela all the land. But he tell me, a good friend of his involved in it. And that good friend there, I know, is somebody that a lot of us in Marigot, well, some of them who doesn't really know, is looking up to. And he was a masterpiece of it. That made sure it's them who organized that crime on us in Marigot.
So what did he benefit from that though?
Well, he benefits a portion of land. And the portion of land that he benefits, it had some poor people working on that piece of land. Piece was for the Lavilles and some of Crown land. And back at what he gets from Laville, we just say he buy from Laville. But a close friend who was close to him, I remember going on that piece of land with that friend. He cut bananas and carry the boxing shed. And when I asked him about what he doing there, he told me, who bought that piece of land? I was shocked. But when I say bought, but when I do my own investigation, I find out it was a piece of land that not bought, but he have documents for it. Because they give it to him because the piece of land self, like where poor people used to work on in the Marigot village, as in the site.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He could not really say, well, that piece of land is his, let's get that piece of land. It will be too clear.
Yes.
So the deal go like, look at, I want a piece of your own,
Yes.
and you will control that piece from the people. And I tell you, it was really fruitful.
So let me ask you now, so the piece you get is a big enough piece?
Well,
Because they're looking small to me. If I know, I don't know how far back it going, but you know.
that piece of land had to be almost 15 acres.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it could be 15 acres.
So you're going back plenty behind there then?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
about say 12 to up to 15 acres.
What? Okay.
Because that whole section, they get a piece of land. Because remember that the piece of land that Angel get in is 100 acres.
Yes. Yes.
So if to say that
Yes.
you're going to get, I'm going to allow you and make you get hundreds of acres.
Yes.
I believe it's good enough that you can give me that piece of land.
Yes.
I can satisfy me.
Yes.
So that is how it happened.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I know that if right now anybody who go to Shillingford and find out anything about Northernland and the estate of Cotton Garden, I believe they will tell the public and the people able to the truth about, because they didn't sell for Angel. Now, who sold to Angel? Who Angel buy from? Mission say that they didn't have more land in Marigot, but Mission didn't. I don't believe Mission would say that, because I know right in my neighborhood, close to our home, our dwelling, Mission had a piece of land, and a local, how we call it in Methodist church, preacher,
Local preacher.
a local preacher had get that piece of land, and up until now, they want to sell it, but they don't have no title for it.
Okay.
And he died, and he handed it over to his children, and they want to sell it. They try to sell it, but they don't have any title, and it's Mission that on it. I know that Mission now who do the investigation.
All right.
Yes. So what happened now, as we understand, with those land, then they come and they say that they're going to investigate. Now here who's investigating it? That is a troubling thing. Methodist people who let's talk about Mission land. It's Methodist people who knows about Mission land. Land in Dominica is land, especially land in Marigot, is where Methodist people, churches is where they have any synagogue. They're bound to have documents. I want to feel so that they can say, prove to people that they have land. But they hide those documents and they say on word of mouth that they go in to the headquarters. Now they will say, remember, they themselves are going to and say they go in. They stay years after is when people start to put on their foot with Angel, and then they talk about, well, back again, you know, like it raise up back, it rise up again. And then they say, well, it's Mission land, Mission they're working on. They come and they say, when they go to Montserrat, there's one of them small little island that Mission say they don't have land in Marigot. Now, I myself do my own investigation, and I do that. And
Yes.
there is where I know he was deceived by some of them who still get paid and still deceiving us and are willing to stand up for some of us in Marigot. And I believe now is the time for them to stand up, because some of them say, well, young does die, old does die, but some of them is ageable. And I know the conscience are very heavy. Yes, as I was saying that, I know some of them conscience are very heavy. Especially those who supposed to lead. Those who know better. And those who take bribe. And those who fool. Let's try to fool the common people.
Fool the poor people, boy. Wow.
Fooling poor people. Some of them went for them to tell them, hey, look, this piece of land, look how you have to go about it. That you can have, your children can earn something. And if this was that like you want them to can go to school, that they can take a loan, they have to have a title so they can go to the bank. They take it away from them, that they own, that is only the children want, and then I must have money, have land, and have all the riches.
Yep.
And then looking that we must come to them and ask them for favor. And it's a break heart. You understand? Because I know better. And that is one of the reasons I share in that story. Yes. I remember a same thing like that happened with Geneva Estate, the south part of the country, that is Grand Bay side, when a big man, Nassif, had wanted to take Geneva Estate. Now Geneva Estate, as I know, as I hear the history about it, it was the Birmingham and them estate, which is a relative of mine. I'm from the relative of Birmingham. And I understand that they had poisoned the owner in coffee on his estate. And then the family just neglected that whole estate. They didn't go back there. Nassif had known about it, and Nassif tried to get it from Granby people. Granby people stood up. They didn't come and fight Nassif one by one. Even that when Nassif had tried to get the estate, Geneva Estate, remember the song what Chobi had made? And they had jailing for a coconut?
Yeah.
That is way back in the 70s back times. 1970 something. And then Granby people, they form a body. All of them come together and they trample the cause.
Yeah.
That Nassif cannot get that estate, Geneva Estate, and it go for the villagers. In Marigot, when we expecting that our leaders in Marigot to stand up with us and fight Angel, them themselves was in bed with Angel. I know for sure, there's not nobody telling me. I know lawyers that my people go to. We just check in, is good lawyers and they can go to them. They was in bed with Angel. You understand? They was in bed with Angel. And then my brother come and he come back and he tell us, well, the lawyer show him Angel title. How long Angel get a title? Who give Angel that title? Remember, Angel whole family and then the Suveras. They have license. They can draw land. And they have the license to put the stamp on it. The year Angel get that land, and the time Angel start to fight people for that land, it was not too long. You understand? Now what you have to understand, he notified the people and them, but they didn't take it seriously. They didn't take it seriously. Because he gave them a first letter and then he disappeared. He stays over 7 to 8 years and then he come back again, gave them a second letter and then he disappeared. And then when they call him after the night in England and he come down here and then they had him like an investor, a passport seller, CBI seller for passport, and he didn't know that is a man who know people and who can get investors. He find well that is the right way to capitalize on the common people, and they give him the okay to get those land, to sell the land. But Angel self betray them, as I understand, because when Eugenia government get out of office and then workers come, workers was working with him. After workers come out of office, Angel turns his back on them, and then more and more getting hard and get his full ground on the people, and he get that now. But I don't know if it's too late, because it have land still that they don't finish sell for people. And I know that it had a white investor come here, and he was buying up land. And then when they wanted to sell another nice piece that he self had want, and when he see the people and them start to cry, and the people and them think, he tell them he's not taking more land from them. He buy land from the estate self, a piece of the estate self. Those land that he had wanted for the view, because remember Marigot is a community with a lot of sea view, mountain view, and I mean it's really a beautiful village. Even to the mountain, to the bayside, it's very beautiful, especially no matter what weather. It's beautiful, because when it's the clouds over the mountains, how beautiful it does look. The landscape is a good landscape, as we can see how it is. And then he had wanted that piece of land. And even I know that they have people who will threaten Angel's son, have even threatened certain people that want to take the land, and they stand up with him and they had cutlass and gun. And they want to run off a good friend of mine of his father land that his father was working for all these years. His father died. After his father died, they wanted to run him off the land. And he stood up with Angel. He stood up, and then even when Angel two sons come with dogs and come on the land behind him, he stood up and he tell them anyone that come on the land there, he going to jail, but he make sure he cutting them up with his cutlass. And he stand up with them. And right now, he get his piece of land. If that land was Angel land, we believe it would go like that. You know, if police would have come, how many police have come and arrest people? It was not Angel land, and it's still not Angel.
No, still not.
You understand? So, that is all I have to say about it. I leave
For now.
Yeah.
For now. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is just episode 1. Share, like, and comment if you really enjoy the topic and if it is something we should continue talking about. Drop a comment, you know. Let us know. Alright? And thank you again, Ahmad, for coming by and sharing this historical news with us, you know, these events, and making us aware of the happenings, because this is something serious which the community should be aware of and take a foot on. Absolutely.
Well, I'm happy and glad, because it was like a stress to me and a burden. I had this thing carrying for long.
No, we have to share it. Because you know what? It affected even me too.
Because it's a long time I carrying that burden and knowing what the unjustness they do.
Yeah, and I have no platform to talk about it.
Yeah.
For it to reach the masses, you know.
So I'm happy that today I could really let it out and make the world know about it.
Thank you again.
Thanks everyone about
Absolutely.
it.